In this lesson, we will learn how to submit a venue listing to CoastArts.org. We've learned in a previous lesson how to log on and have seen the menu of choices there. If you choose Submit a Venue from that menu, a form will appear which, if filled in and submitted, will immediately create a venue listing in the Coastal Arts directory of coastarts.org. Here are some of the items that are required for a venue submission. In the form, the required items will have an asterisk in the label. You should be prepared to enter these into the form. Here are the other required items. Note that an image to represent the venue will be needed on your computer, as well as having prepared venue descriptions. And these are optional items that can be used. Optional items can be left blank, however, and the headings for unused items will not appear in the listing. Best practice for preparing for a submission is to use a word processing document to enter and save as a text document the needed text and other information for the submission, just in case you need to resubmit at a later time. Most commonly, the Microsoft Word program or Notepad program is used for this. The text can be copied from the document into the form, or optionally you can just type directly into the form. Be sure to save the Word document as a text file to remove special formatting before copying the text. Copying can be done with the shortcut keys of Control-C and pasting with Control-V. Apple users use the Command key instead of the Control key. Let's look at how these are entered into a submission form. Your identity as the submitter is required to be entered in the first two boxes of the submission form. The submitter's account email is also required. And then the venue name will be entered. The next two text boxes in the form are for the required entry of the venue's street address and optional but recommended entry of contact information. The address can be several lines of information, and the contact information can be the phone number and possibly the mailing address. The contact information box will scroll automatically to allow more text than the width of the box. Next in the form are text boxes to enter the optional venue email address and optional hours of operation of the venue. The next two text boxes in the form are for the optional entry of the venue's website and Facebook webpage. A prefix of http:// is provided for the website entry to remind you to use that prefix for both entries if made. If there is no website to be entered, then you should erase the prefix http:// that is there. Then you will enter the required short description or synopsis of the venue. This will be seen in the list view of the Coastal Arts directory. This should be only one sentence or two and should encourage the site visitor to see the venue's detail page. The next input area on the venue submission form is used to enter the required detailed description that will be shown in the venue's detail view. Like other text boxes, you can type directly in the box or paste from a copy of text in a word processing document. The text box is a special one, however, with editing buttons for bold, italic, underline, indent to format the text, and buttons to create and remove links to web pages. For formatting text, either click the button and type to enter the formatted text, or select the text and click the button to apply the format. The link button will pop up a dialog allowing you to enter a website address. Next in the form is location for the city or town of the venue. This choice will allow visitors to coastarts.org to find the venue by filtering their search by city or town. Clicking on the arrow will drop down a list of cities with a scroll bar to drag down to see further down the list. Select the city name by clicking on it to highlight it. Note that an image file is required. You should acquire an appropriate image to represent the venue and have it on your computer for selection. There are two important issues here with images, as noted in a previous lesson. The image should be a portrait-oriented image, and the image file size must be less than 2 megabytes. When you click the Browse or Choose File button, an Open File dialog box opens, allowing you to navigate to the image file on your computer that you wish to use for the listing. Once found, the file is selected and the Open button is clicked to finish the selection. Your last step will be to click the Submit button. Since you will not be editing the information after it is submitted, you should make sure all is correct before submitting. If you have not entered one or more required items, the form will not submit and will highlight the missing entries in red with messages of what is mandatory. Simply enter the missing information and click the Submit button again to correct this problem. If the image file is too large, however, the form will simply refuse to submit. The exercise that follows is a simulation of the actual form so that you can practice. Prepare with some information to type or paste into the form. Do not take too long in deciding what text to use at this time, since we are just having you experience the procedure. Find the image you will need on your computer, making sure it is a portrait orientation and less than 2 megabytes. A simulation of the resulting listing will be presented to you after you submit the form. You will then be instructed how to return to the lessons for the quiz that you will take.